Here's what we're going to do. Last year in 2021, I'll explain some of this a little bit in what's coming up. I'm kind of prefacing what's coming up. I worked at the Forest of Screams haunted hayride walking trail and haunted house, and it was the first time I've done that in a really long time, and most of what I've been doing is just sort of going to them and then eventually critiquing and things like that. It is now 2022 and we're getting ready to start back up at Forest of Screams again. So all this was a year ago. I had intended to put it together earlier. No, that's not right. I intended to sort of put it out as it went, and then I decided to put everything together, and then I had a ton of technical difficulties with all this. I had everything I made get lost like 2 or 3 times. Like it didn't save, something updated and it lost, it didn't load right. I had like a ton of stuff. So what you're about to see is pretty much like, if this doesn't work, I'm done with it. I've really tried. And then eventually because there was a couple weekends we did like a Krampus special, and then in May there was a Friday the 13th, so we did like a whole Jason thing and everything else like that, and I worked all of those as well. So I thought maybe I'd just do all that and put it together. What I ended up doing was actually putting like little blits and blurbs on like Instagram and stuff like that, instead of making it for this, because it was only like little bits and blurbs and stuff like that. So instead of doing like a whole big production per each thing, because I couldn't really work out how to do that, I sort of saved it all up, and then as time went on, after the first of the year, so after the holidays and the Krampus things and everything else like that, I was like, you know what, if I can get this to work, I'll just save it to right before the haunted house season starts, because I'm, again, like last year, I'm not going to get the opportunity to go to a lot of things, so this will be sort of in lieu of some of the like videos and things that I would make otherwise. I might try and be a little bit better at sort of behind the scenes stuff this year than I was last year. Maybe I'll just put like also like a big huge thing of pictures and stuff like that, some of them not taken by me, but I've gotten permission by some people to put stuff up. So that's what this is. The things you're going to see here is basically a vlog. Is that still a word we use in 2022? I have no idea. From 2021, working at the Forest of Screams. First time I worked at a haunted house in like 30 years or so, almost 30 years maybe, and first time I was like legit like paid for it and stuff like that too. So I've had to edit it multiple times. There are like some weird cuts and things like that in places, because there were times where I really repeated myself, and I was trying to cut back on a lot of the repetition. And there were some times, I'll be honest with you, where I was just sort of venting about some stuff, and it was one of those things, like as soon as I got done, I was like, you know what, that was why did I do that? I sort of like instantly regretted it. So I will cut things like that out. There are a couple little things that will give you maybe an idea kind of what I was going on with that. But there were some of the videos I'm making at like 1:32 in the morning, after working sometimes both jobs, or having taught in the morning and then worked and stuff like that. So my levels of awareness on that, a little bit lower than maybe they should have been. So I try to take some of that out there too, because you don't need that. Try to focus a little bit more on the positive than me sort of feeling like I'm whining about stuff. So that's what this is. It's a year late, and but it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of kind of first time try hard actor haunt horror movie enthusiasts trying to participate and contribute in an effective way to something that's pretty cool. So that's it. That's what this is. And there are a couple things that are maybe informative. There are a few things that might be funny, and maybe there are a few things also maybe a little bit more philosophical to think about, especially a little bit at their end when I'm sort of wrapping it up, the epilogue. And yeah, so that's what this is. I hope it's at least a little bit of fun, or at the very least, it's something calming to have in the background while you do other stuff you like doing. Peace.
Well, hello there. This is going to be a little bit different. I'm at Forest of Screams for my first night working here, apparently. I haven't worked a haunted house almost 30 years, maybe? Something like that. It just sort of happened very quickly. I was trying to get some, side gig stuff going on and waiting for my big boy grown-up job to start. And it's working out this way. Just, was able to talk to a couple of people. They said, come on in. So we're going to work this out, figure out what I'm doing and where and with whom and how and all that good stuff. And yeah, it's kind of exciting. It just sort of happened very quickly. So I'm just going to kind of embrace the flow, maybe the chaos, hopefully not too much chaos. Just enough chaos to be fun, but not enough chaos to be really chaos. Just the nice threshold of chaos sort of thing. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. It's really interesting because I'm kind of thinking of like, well, I've got a couple characters in my mind, but I don't know what they want, and I don't know where they want, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I don't want to get in, hey, I'm doing this scene, you got to do. I'm not trying to have, drama or anything else like that. I don't want drama. Having fun and Halloween stuff, good. Drama, no. Had way more than enough of that in my life. Up until now, not looking forward to it. But what's interesting is like I was thinking about this, and I was talking to someone about basically like auditioning for all intents and purposes last week. I forget the full context, but it was basically about auditioning. And auditioning always sucks. The sort of being tested thing sucks. The doing isn't that hard, isn't that bad. I can do that. It's like the difference between being in a competition, like for the Tai Chi stuff, like when I was competing, versus doing demos. Competing sucks. Demos are fine. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to be, which part. If I'm going to be with someone else, by myself. If we're going to do one of my characters, one of their characters. I have absolutely no idea. I'm going into this completely randomly. Everything kind of set up today. So let's see. All right. See you soon. Check out my new home, the castle, the beginning of the haunted wood trail. Oh, hi. All right. Just had the first night experience at Forest of Screams. It went well. Apparently it was a fairly slowish night, a little bit lower staff, but we were able to kind of keep everything open and moving. And I got to say, everyone was really nice to me. Brad, Michael, Sierra kind of checked on me several times, physically or on text during the night. Helped kind of show me the ropes and everything, and the people doing the makeup and the airbrushing was really cool. Never had that done before, so that was kind of an interesting experience. And yeah, everyone was real sort of good about checking on things, making sure everything was cool, making sure, I was having a good time as well. Rodney was very nice and appreciative of having the extra, people there, uh, stuff like that, to make sure that everything can be open and moving through with that. So I was able to, I kind of, I started off with like a kind of ridiculous amount of stuff to say in the sort of grand Shakespearean sort of voice, and then was able to pare it down to something more reasonable, more manageable, and was kind of able to use like layer effects, I guess. As I say the layer effects because usually Fridays are D&D nights, and so I just kind of tied that in there a little bit for me. Layer actions, actually, I should say, and kind of helped that with the timing of some of the stuff I was saying and doing. Had some people actually full on like jump or fall. A lot of, kind of startles and some things like that. A couple people kind of joking around. It was, I think, that's just me. A couple of times I kind of came out of I was kind of like this little, it was very small little area. Kind of, swung out of that a few times and went after people, and that was kind of fun. So no, it was fun. It was interesting. It was kind of just a long night. I think part of that was, I'm sure there's a happy medium between a long night of, it was kind of slow, and if there's a long night of, oh my God, we're never stopping. I'm sure there's a happy medium. You kind of, take a breath, something to drink, or I didn't eat my protein bar now that I think of it. Throw out my very quick, nasty ad hoc dinner here. So yeah, I kind of prepared, slightly over prepared, but I'm okay with being a little over prepared. It's better than being under prepared. And yeah, it's kind of a lot of stuff here I got to take care of. But yeah, it was fun. And again, everyone was really cool and really nice about, helping me out, figure where to go and what to do and how to do it. And then checking on me as we went as well. So it was a good experience. Probably, I think after tonight, there's like 15, 16 or so more nights. I will probably be working the majority of those. And I might try out, one of the things that was kind of cool is, they were very open to just try something out. Well, we can put you here if that's cool, or we can put you here if you like that, or we can put you here. And then it was, well, how about this? And then it just kind of worked out the way it worked out with that. But everyone's really encouraging about, trying different stuff. It was the 3 parts: the hayride, the forest walk, and the haunted house, the mortuary. Everyone was real cool about, hey, try different stuff out, go to different things, do different stuff, try it out. Cool. I might do that. I might, just to kind of keep it weird, try out different spots. Either on I was technically on the trail. As in the very beginning, there's sort of a castle you walk through to get to the trail. I was in that. And, I might try different stuff here or there, again, just to try it out. If I'm like, I like my little cubby hole in the castle better, I just go back to that. As long as no one else kind of gets that. I mean, I'm very sort of sensitive to not stepping on kind of other people's toes again. Okay, so here we go. I'm at day 2. I'm going to try and get this in before the helicopter gets really loud. I got my pore strips in yesterday for my nose on these giant pores on my big old nose, but I forgot my nice Sephora toner, which I'm going to use today because I'm trying to keep my pores nice because of my really sensitive skin. Ugh, no. And the makeup and the stuff like that. Just apparently I'm a little sensitive still. So we'll, oh yeah. So hopefully the toner that the nice lady at Sephora 7-8 months ago, last time I went, was nice enough to recommend. So hopefully that actually helps that a little more. So day 2 coming up. Okay, here we go. Night 2. I'm going to do a sort of wizardy thing. I got some cemetery stuff here. Dracula. Got a guy who's going to be running around, partnering up. A little bit more easy on the makeup. This song again. Hopefully it's not going to be literally all night that we'll have a thing. This is like a really nice setup in the woods. I'm kind of hoping the rain staves off at least for a while. Really don't feel like getting damp or wet. It's night 2, creepy cemetery in the woods. Actually getting to kind of be, yeah, in the woods. I like that. In the woods is nice. So yeah, I'm kind of excited. A little bit different. I'm going to get a similar thing, a little less vampire, a little more sorcery, warlock, necromancy kind of thing. And that's a little bit better. And there we go. Real quick though, this is a really cool environment. See the smoke coming off of there. I know I should probably put this away real quick, but I don't think people have come through yet. But yeah, I just really dig this environment. This is really spooky, cool. The smoke's really doing it for me. Oh, hello. All right, day 2's in the books. I don't know, I just feel as if, I'm here at Walgreens because I need to get chocolate. I feel as if, and this isn't because of anyone at Forest, everyone's been really cool and professional and helpful and friendly and encouraging as well. This is more just sort of me. And again, I recognize it's day 2. I haven't done anything like this in a while. I haven't been on stage in a while or anything else like that, and properly. I don't know. I just feel, and again, this is just me feeling out me here. I don't know. I feel like maybe I don't know if I'm trying too hard, which is a normal, well, not normal thing for me, but it is something that has been something I've struggled with a lot, or I'm just haven't really found the niche to kind of slip into, maybe the right scene, the right character, something like that. I don't know, just something feels off to it. Like, again, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to explain. Part of this was sort of like an opportunity. It's like, hey, I'm going to do this year for a couple reasons. And I wanted to kind of, I'm going to make sure that, after making all these other videos and stuff, I'm definitely going to try and put my money where my mouth is. And was trying to do something the last couple of days that would be something I would like to see. So, using my Christopher Lee sort of stage voice and, weird stuff like I've never heard other people say, like other things I've never heard other people use, and try and set scenes that I haven't really seen before. And I might still change stuff up tomorrow and maybe a couple days next week or something like that, just to try and see if I can mix and match enough stuff to make it sort of fit or make something sort of click. There are some people that are kind of vibing with it, and there's a lot of people, especially tonight, that were just really kind of, sort of jerks. It's almost that sort of same thing, if all you're going to do is go out somewhere just to kind of be a dick, maybe don't do that. I understand places will still take your money, But it's, you know, I can't see how some people are having fun. And I know from experience being on both sides of things, you know, the actors, or if you're going to a restaurant or a store or something like that, the service people there, they don't need your abuse. And the other people around you, quite frankly, aren't having a good time with it too. So, you know, if your whole thing is going to a restaurant because you're like, I'm going to watch me be an ass to the server, you're going to go to a store because you want to give someone hell, you know, just order online. You know, don't mess around. So if the only reason you're going to a haunted house is because you want to screw with the actors, just don't go. Keep your money. You know, don't waste your money. Don't waste your time, because you're messing stuff up for the other people who are there because they're trying to have fun. You know, and the, you know, you're not really getting anything over on the actors. So I don't know, but yeah, it's definitely an experience. You know, it does, but it does remind me, it does kind of remind me of working in retail, you know, because you're kind of in a certain place. There's certain kind of marks and certain things you're going to hit. I'm trying to stay in some sort of consistent character in either place I was in. So there's certain repetition for that. You know, it's more like if you're working at, you know, the register in the cafe versus like main information or music. Can you tell I used to work at Borders? But yeah, so, and then, yeah, you get certain things with the people kind of get, either people are loving it and you can kind of play with it, or people are being jerks and you just kind of gotta, okay, next, you're done, next, you know, just, I'm ignoring you. I've done my thing. I've done my scene, next sort of thing. So there is almost a kind of like a retail feel to it a little bit. By the way, shout out to Christian, doing awesome on the, airbrushing stuff. I can't remember. I don't think I gave him the kudos yesterday. So I'm definitely giving it today. He did kind of like a skull thing. There should be pictures I'm going to put somewhere in this whole jumbled mess. And, I liked it. I thought it was a really cool, just for like an airbrush sort of quick skull thing with it. It was cool. And so, yeah, that's it. Ciao.
So, my body does this real cool thing. There's my cat, Luna Aria. So my body does this real cool thing that I love, where if I go to bed at a reasonable time, like, you know, 11 or 12, I get up about 5:36. I just wake up, and that's about it. I'm up. Maybe if I'm lucky, I get 40 to 90 minutes more, kind of a nap afterwards. But that's about it. However, if I go to bed later than that, 1, 2, 3 o'clock sometimes, as I am apt to do, I still wake up about 6, maybe 7 if I'm really lucky. But I don't tend, and I haven't for quite some time, to sort of make up the time. So if I go to bed at 3, I'm not waking up at, say, 9 if I only get 6 hours of sleep. If I go to bed at 3, I'm getting up at 7. If I go to bed at 4, I'm getting up at 7. You know, there might be some reasons for this. I am not one to adhere to any sort of reductionist mentality, because physiologically or even psychologically, that's dumb. Sort of reductionist view of anything. This is the one thing, you know, whether it's human evolution or change in civilization or a physical body or a psyche or anything else like that. A singular reductionist view points to an agenda, and probably a great deal of ignorance. So there's not only just one reason for it, but yeah, I don't don't make up the time. I don't sleep for 8 hours regardless, you know, unless my alarm goes off and I'm purposefully getting up. I will sleep either 5-6 hours or until about 7. Again, once in a while, maybe I'm lucky enough to get a little bit of nap time after that, right after that, let alone during the day. Slippers. But yeah, that's it. So what was funny is, and I knew this would kind of happen, and so I was prepared for this, but it's sort of like interesting feeling the difference between when I was, you know, in my 20s, working 3 jobs and, you know, maybe staying out for a while on some nights and working out and training and all this other stuff. Versus now, many years later, was it Friday? Because Saturday mornings I teach a Tai Chi class on the other side of town. So the 4 hours of sleep I got for going and doing that, and then working out, and then going to work out some more, and then, you know, kind of getting ready and then working again last night at the haunted house was kind of, I knew this would happen, but I was able to get through it. I was wondering, let me try that again. I was wondering how it would go, and, you know, I didn't feel great about getting only a few hours of sleep, and had that little, you know, sort of stomach blurg for about an hour or so. But other than that, it's just you do what you do. But this is Luna Aria. She's a very good baby girl. She's very sweet. She's pretty smart. She knows when it's time for supper, and she knows when I say it. Definitively makes a conscious change in behavior and looks at me. And she's very vocal most of the time. And her brothers were basically rescued from our garage. We rescued them. They were only like a week old or something like that. We fed them up, trained them up, got them a place that we could get them fixed and fostered out. We kept this one. I called her my little project. She was the runt. And in fact, for the first 5 years, she didn't really kind of look like a cat. She was kind of like a pinheaded weasel. And yeah, after she was like 5 or 6, she actually kind of filled out to proper cat proportions. Can you hear her? What? Belly, 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 belly. Boop. All right, behind the scenes. No, you're good. Christian doing his airbrush magic. Bunch of stuff, so they got everything nice and stacked up for you. And a ton of costumes. Spooky volleyball. Tonight's home. Okay, so I'm at a Spirit Halloween because I want to check out something for a mask. On Saturday, Sunday, sorry. I was in this pumpkin part, and there were a couple of masks that they wanted me to have, try out, and like this fake axe thing. Some of the masks weren't super. I noticed that the masks weren't great. It's my head and face didn't work with them. The one I ended up going with, because there was one that kind of had like a long thing with this.
I think it would have been just squeezed funny around like my neck and head. I can't deal with especially neck stuff. And there was the one that I took was hard plastic, and it had like little foamy pad things here for the cheekbones. However, if you can tell, I'm not exactly highly blessed with cheekbones, unfortunately. But I am blessed with, check out this profile. Big old brow ridge and a very large, noble type nose. Well, you can see it's actually still red. It's not from my glasses, it's from this mask. I thought it'd be alright, and it'd just be kind of like something sitting on here. I'm like, oh, my glasses. But what happened after about 5 minutes of wearing it, it's Tuesday now, this was Sunday. Right here still hurts. It's not even sore, it hurts. I actually had to kind of readjust a little bit what they wanted me to do, just because I needed to reset in a place that was far enough away that I could kind of see people coming in, and then be able to put my mask back down and kind of get into position. It was killing my face. I could kind of deal with the pressure on the forehead a little bit, but on the nose, it hurt. Still hurts. So I'm going to take a look to see if there's something in here that might work too, should I go back to that area, or a different area, but it may be a similar thing that they want. So yeah, let's see. I would like to point out something historically here, because I'm an Egyptian nerd. There were more women in ancient Egypt other than Cleopatra, especially since she was at the fall of the empire with it there at the end, in more Roman times. And she was Greek. In fact, any of the Cleopatras, the famous one is 13th or 17th or something along those lines, not even the first one. And the Ptolemies were Greeks. Side note, the Ptolemies were actually in charge of Egypt for longer than America's been a country, but she was Greek. I mean, you could have Hatshepsut, Nefertari, Nefertiti, all sorts of other ones. But it's Cleopatra and Cleopatra and Cleopatra. It's just, come on. Oh no, I'm sorry. There is a sun goddess. Could you be less specific, please? Is that supposed to be Isis? After she took or tricked Ra into giving her his name? Like, come on. I mean, you have Apollo and Venus. I mean, you can use some specific names. It's okay. Anyway, sorry, I had a rant about that because it's Egypt. So I got this guy, just in case I go there again. I don't know, I've been bounced around a little bit, which I'm not mad about. And then these, because these are always kind of creepy. Had a coupon, saved some money on it anyway, so it was weird. They didn't really have any lights. Like I need string lights for my front room, because that's how I light my living room. And they didn't have any. And someone was really hawking on everyone a little bit too. It was interesting. But yeah, it's just kind of normal Spirit Halloween. I didn't notice that some of the jackets were interesting. Between $50 and $75 for these things. No, I'm not paying that when I go to Target and get like a, sports jacket, suit jacket or something like that for as much or less, and have that be better quality and infinitely more useful wherever I go. It's like, I understand this is sort of a time-sensitive business, but you also have to understand what it is that you're hawking too. So yeah, some of these things for $50 to $75 for some of these jackets, no, not at all. No. Not if you're going to, I mean, you probably get them on Wish or something like that for $5 or something. That's the type of what we're looking at here. So careful with that, Spirit Halloween. All right, now I got to go hopefully pump up my tire, because I might have to just get new tires now. Hooray, couldn't wait.
Tonight on Zombie Island. Alright, that's not working. But this guy... Oh, there we go.
it's going to be tonight. I am going to avoid this other hole because apparently that's where the poison ivy is. I will go on this side and be all I can be in the zombie containment army. I don't know where this character came from, just kind of roll with it. We're going to make this a bit weird. So I'm waiting for my car to defrost. So I was on the hayride for the first time. Well, not on the hayride, but I was on, you know, the trail for the hayride. I think I put some stuff on this already. Sort of like the industrial part. Had my little post-industrial alchemy thing that I was saying. Got to use the fire as like sort of a surprise. I try to make it where, you know, I kind of lulled people into kind of paying attention, and then with what I was saying, so it kind of drew people's attention, made them pay attention to me as I walked to one side. I started over on the one side, walked to the other, and the one side has the fire, the other side has the trigger. So I, you know, kind of did like a magician thing, sleight of hand, pay attention to me. As I'm saying this, bam, lit the fire up. Sometimes it kind of, like, I tried a lot of different ways to be able to step on this thing, and it doesn't seem to be any one specific way to make it work perfectly. Sometimes it kind of just shot the gas and it didn't ignite, and then maybe it did later, or, you know, it was like a real weak flame. Sometimes it shot up. There were a few times, a couple, like maybe 3-4 wagons or so, where the people were being jerks en masse, basically. And then I was able to make like damn near the entire cart scream or jump when I basically fired off the fire, as like sort of like, hey, pay attention, bam, scare out. So that was kind of fun. There was a couple trams where people were just kind of into it. It was almost just nice when people didn't say or do anything, just looked at me and were quiet. That was actually just a nice thing to have compared to what a lot of some of the other stuff was. But I did kind of like being on the trail, the hayride part, because again, that, like, the way it's described, like, that's almost more like an entertainment part, and then the rest of it kind of has the scares. So that was nice, being kind of the entertainment part. What was also nice, I had very clear cues as to when the next thing was coming up. I could hear stuff. I had to turn down some of the sound things, but I could hear the tram coming up. I heard what the person in the scene in front of me was doing, so that gave me a chance to get everything set up and stuff like that. So that was very nice. I liked that. Clear cues are a very, very nice thing. What was kind of nice too was just sort of, especially since I'm just kind of leaning more towards an acting bit thing, was again having the tram do the thing, big group of people, they move on, wait, next thing comes up. Having that as opposed to trying to keep kind of a scene going for a stream was kind of nice with that. So not exactly what I wanted to say with it, but that's kind of about where I was going with certain things. I better go. This might have been the sort of closest to kind of what I wanted, or what I've been thinking about in terms of getting into this as I have gotten so far. You know, each of my 5 days have been something different. You know, the sort of vampire in the castle, and I used my voice to kind of set an atmosphere, and then came out. I did the sort of necromancer in the cemetery. I had a couple nights where it was just sort of silent sort of creature things with masks or makeup, and then this guy, this sort of post-industrial alchemist sort of thing that I was messing with. This was probably the closest to kind of what I wanted to try to do as before. And I still feel like I haven't really found a niche or hit a groove. I don't know. It's like I'm actively trying to make sure that I'm trying to do something different than I know is in the rest of the attraction. I'm trying to do something different than a lot of the things that I've seen in other attractions. Simply, you know, and part of it is like, I want to see something that maybe I would like to see, even if it doesn't maybe work out quite right. Just the fact that I would see someone trying to do something that is weird, or it has like a weird magic sort of thing to it, or yeah, because like the necromancer and the alchemist, and even a little bit with the vampire thing I did, there was some similarities to some of the stuff I was saying. I just sort of adapted a sort of baseline script and then to each of the things. But it would be stuff that I might find cool because, again, it's I mean, I'm not revolutionary. I'm not, you know, changing the face of the game or any dumb crap like that. I'm just actively trying things out that are things that I haven't really seen anywhere else. Part of that's for my own amusement, and part of that is because, you know, these people took a chance on hiring me in, so I want to try and help kind of do something that helps kind of set apart as well. And even if, I mean, no, I'm not going to get in some of the stuff I want to do, I'm not going to get big scares or anything like that. I'm okay with that because, again, I'm trying to set up an energy, you know, sort of an atmosphere. And if now all of a sudden, like the people, you know, the whomever might be before me does the thing, whoever after me does the thing, even if they're very similar, when they get to me, it's broken up and different now. And stuff like that I like. Again, playing with the atmosphere, playing with the ins and outs of things and everything like that. I enjoy being the person, you know, consuming the attraction when things kind of have, you know, an up and down and you know, different things, not just one, you know, 10 scenes with like 2 ideas in it. You know, if there's 10 scenes and there's 6 or 7 ideas, that's much more exciting to watch. It's much more exciting to be a part of. So I'm trying to do my part to be, you know, for the larger thing as well, to be, you know, something that's interesting and people like, and yeah, it kind of creates maybe a little bit of a drama for that. So I'm actively trying to do these things. I don't necessarily know if they're working. I don't necessarily know if it's just, you know, I just maybe got to find the right scene for it and it will click or something like that. I don't know. I don't really mind kind of being a floater like I am now, kind of filling in where is necessary, because maybe that will help me kind of find what I want to do. There's a couple places I've found where it's like I kind of don't want to do now, so I can, you know, dial in a little bit more. But yeah, it's like and I'm probably way overthinking this. And just like, I'm kind of having fun trying to see how to adapt and how to change. And okay, well, you're going to be in this today. Okay, well, what I want to do for that. So I enjoy that part. You know, doing something different all the time is kind of nice too, because then it's not just, you know, you find your niche, but then that can become a rut. So I don't mind not getting into a rut, but I think sometimes even, you know, when it starts getting a little bit later in the night, anything starts feeling like a rut. I know tonight I kind of hit a wall too. I mean, we went really late because there's so many people, and I know at one point I just sort of hit a wall. And especially since there were so many carts or so many of the trams where, like, it's one thing if like one or two people are kind of talking over you, and especially when they're really loud, and especially when they're just clearly just overstepping any sort of thing for that. Like they're desperately trying to steal as much of the attention as they can, whether it's because they're high or drunk or both, or scared but are trying to hide it, or are just, you know, they actively went into the situation to be a dick. Because there are some times where it's like the whole thing is off the hook, so you just kind of have to stop and find ways for it to reset. And there are some things where, you know, maybe I cut my script down a little bit or anything, did my thing, fired off the fireball, and then away you go, because it was you clearly do not give a shit about this experience. You clearly don't give a shit about the people you're with. You don't care that someone's trying to do something at least fun. You know, it's like, okay, well, then we're done. You know, I'll stay in character. It's just sort of like, why waste your money into something where you're not having fun? Why spend money to try and ruin other people's enjoyment of things? A lot of things too. Going to stores, going to restaurants, amusement parks, or yeah, haunted houses, or just anything. Like, why go out of your way to not enjoy yourself? Why go out of your way to screw up other people having a good time too? I don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, but yeah, I'm probably just thinking about stuff too much, and it's really late. I need to stop because I'm just extra rambly. But yeah, I'm just trying weird stuff. Maybe it's that sort of throwing a bunch of darts at the board, trying to see what sticks. But I am actively trying to do things or say things that I don't really know anyone else that I've gone to haunted houses has said or done. And part of that is putting my money where my mouth is. You know, I've done so many videos talking about other haunted houses. You know, I said, oh, well, I like this or I didn't like that, so now it's my turn to actually shut up and do it. Or at least give it a shot. So, okay, yeah, that's kind of like week 2 done for the most part. So, hooray. So I'm on the Hayride Cemetery tonight, trying to make sure I don't have any insulation up here. So I'm trying, it's going to get cold, so I'm trying to be cool with that. I am, the Hayride Cemetery, which is kind of where I wanted to be. I'm going to probably do the necromancer stuff I did before. I'm on the crypt side, which is awesome. I get all the smoke, and there's a badass Tom over there. I've talked about him from 7 Floors before. I'm really excited that I'm like excited and nervous that we're splitting the thing, because he's going to be like really damn good, and I'm not necessarily going to say I'm going to upstage him. I don't want to mess his thing up. So there's going to be some dialing it in for the first few. Don't look at how bad I did my makeup tonight. I was really bad tonight. Not happy about that, but yeah. So I got my little scarf, my little black scarf here. Keep all the chakras blocked and anything, but yeah, I had to turn down the music because it's super loud. But yeah, so the churchyard's over there. I got some cool gravestones, walking zomble, and then all the crypt stuff. There's a gate. So I'm looking forward to this. It's Saturday the 16th. It promises, there's already people out there, and it promises it's going to be a slammed night. Hopefully it's a slammed early night, so we're not getting out of here. You know, we're not leaving the trail after 1 o'clock like last time. It probably is going to be, but you know, we can dream. All right, so this Saturday the 16th, this is 3 for me now, so we'll see how it goes. I hope it goes well. Looking forward to it. Hail Loki. So Tom, epic legend. Dude is a beast. And We were talking about like D&D stuff too that he's using for it. This is awesome. He's adapting. We've adapted to kind of each other, helping, kind of working on scenes, working together on stuff with this. This has been a blast. This has been exactly kind of what I wanted about this whole thing, the scene. Working with a legend like this has been so far, I mean, it's night 6 for me. It's been the best night. Week 3, this is awesome.
Oh, hey, I forgot. I'm in the preparing stages for week 4 for being at Forest of Screams. And I forgot to mention last Sunday, week 3. I was in the castle at the beginning of the walking trail again. Did my sort of vampire-y kind of shtick. And honestly, it went really well. Like last weekend was the best weekend I had there so far. And granted, I'm not, super seasoned vet there or anything else like that. But Saturday with Thomas was really fun, and it was cool to work with him. And then Sunday, like the people we got in were fun. The amount of people who were just dicks were pretty low. Pretty much everyone was into it. There were really some big groups, which was a little, in some cases it's a little different. It's a little more difficult on the walking trail or anything. On the hayride, on the trams, it's not a problem because you're getting everyone kind of on a lump sum anyway. And I do kind of like that. You kind of have a big group, you do your scene, they're gone, and then you kind of get a minute to compose and then get yourself situated, figure out if something worked or didn't work, and then can move on to the next thing. And there's usually good cues. I like having the cues. The cues are nice. And there's a couple things in the castle that are a little bit wonky. There's like a dragon thing just after the spot I go that, like in the industrial part, the big monster by the fireball place kind of needs to be trimmed down in terms of the length with which they roar and move and stuff. And quite frankly, the loop of just the one song needs to change. Put in a whole album or two or playlist or something. Just the one song is like, oh my goodness. But no, overall the people were fun. Even though some of them are big groups, there's a lot of people that got a lot of good reactions, and people kind of seeming to want to be there and kind of having fun with it. So yeah, like last weekend worked out really well, and I just forgot to make a comment about Sunday, so I'm doing that now. It's Friday now. We're a couple hours out from having to leave. I gotta grab something to eat here on my little 15-minute break from work. And then I gotta, sign out and head out and get ready. Everyone, good energy and juju and mojo. Hoping my car holds together for the rest of, this whole experience. And yeah, away we go with that.
Oh, hey. So last weekend at Forest of Screams well, not everywhere technically, but I worked it, was Halloween weekend. 29th, 30th, 31st Sunday being Halloween. Pardon me. So I worked the whole thing. I wasn't originally going to work on Sunday because it was Halloween and that's kind of a thing for me. I did some of the stuff that I would want to do on Halloween anyway. And then I did go into work. So Saturday and Sunday, and I know I'm skipping Friday, but I'm going to get back to that. Saturday and Sunday, I was placed in the zombie containment, which is the end of the haunted trail. I'd been there once before, and I kind of was in the middle. And I was at the end for a little bit, then I had to move up to the middle. This time, because we had kind of enough people, well, Saturday we did. Sunday, I was kind of specifically, well, let me go. Saturday, I went towards the end of at the end of it, and then Sunday, I was sort of told to go back to the end of it. And I still did the bloodied mouth, not as much as the pagan stuff that I was doing, kind of really, sort of blacked out the eyes, and I was doing like a kind of like weird veining sort of thing with some, it's like this purplish color. So it's kind of like, bloodied mouth, these hollowed out eyes, and like kind of this vein thing. And it ended up being kind of a cross between almost one of those like 28 days later rage zombie monsters and that Olmec guy from Blade 2. Because, I mean, I know what I look like. Besides awesome. And what I realized was then for the first little bit on Saturday, I was trying like that kind of a thing and did that. And then I realized, because at the end of the trail, there's kind of this barn thing. It's got an animatronic thing that reaches for you. And then it spits you out and you go into the mortuary line. Well, what I realized for one part is that if I hurried, I could get from where I was to behind the barn, and then it's roped off, and then I could kind of throw myself against the rope and really sort of bungee in towards the people as they were coming out. So I could hit them before the barn thing, distract them from that what was going on, so I'd startle them there. They get startled by the animatronics that I distracted them from, and then I'd come back around and there I was again. I will admit that my sort of little, predator animal sort of instincts got triggered, and when people ran, I chased them. Sometimes I would like just sort of hunt them down through the barn and went through the animatronics and went with them. Sometimes I just dipped under the road and chased them. Sometimes I would just sort of, appear like next to them and freak them out. I got way too in it one time. One lady I had Saturday, I probably was responsible for about 7 people falling. Some of them just from when I shot out and they startled, and some of them after I chased them, they like bit it. One woman bit it, kind of had like this little tiny little cut on her hand, but she was, it's cut on my hand, and I was like sniffing that, scared of the living, like that. I think freaked their group out more than me chasing the hell out of them. I chased the hell out of them too. But what I realized, there's a couple of things I noticed was interesting. One, I was pretty much wearing my own clothes, which I pretty much have been doing this whole time. But, I had one sort of like a little bit nicer coat, and I'd flip the thing up, and I have to do something to help sort of hide the stocking cap or have something to cover this. I mean, I would take the hood off. It was a little bit warm enough for me to take the hood off, but I'd put it back on as soon as there is no customers through, because I'm trying not to get like a headache or anything. I'm pretty much wearing my own clothes through most of this, so that's sort of interesting. But it's in my own clothes with minimal makeup. Apparently, I'm enough to startle the shit out of a lot of people, which I thought was funny. But but where I was sort of stowed myself is sort of like this netting. I kind of came out of this netting, and I got a lot of good feedback of how fire I made my sort of entrance, or how smooth it was, and how it was, and I purposely practiced in making it. I'd come in and step out, and I ended up almost sort of like a Jason, Michael the Shape Myers sort of thing, where I'm just like bam there and right there in front of you. And what I realized I was doing after I had a few people like, holy like your entrance was awesome, like I got a lot of good feedback right to my face, not even reading something, but to me, that the way I exited was really good, and like my presence with it was really good. And I realized what I was doing was ostensibly Xingyi, because it would be, I'd step out all as one unit and stop, and I'd be like bam there, and I was like, I'm basically doing Xingyi. And then I realized too that even if I thought people saw me either moving around, or one person in the next group comes too quickly, and I look over and I just be there, just daggers with the eyes. But apparently I was so still that people didn't realize that I had moved or turned my head. So when I turned my whole body to look at them, because I'd be like this, staring at them, and then I'd move, and that would freak them out too. Which is like, okay, so apparently all my internal kung fu stuff I'm using here as well, and didn't even realize it. Just the being able to be still, and then being able to like pop out and put everything into one motion, but still have like that intent behind it. So that was cool. Zombie, the containment stuff. Zombies, not really my favorite anyway. Zombie containment, not really my favorite part of the thing anyway. But, you know, I really, regardless of where I am, I'm going to do the best I can with what I have to work with. Now, Friday, this is 29th, I was back in the cemetery, but on the haunted trail. I have not been back on the hayride. I've been on the trail the whole time. And the first time I was there, I did that sort of necromancer thing I was doing before. This time I was there, I don't know, something clicked in my head. I had paganed out kind of my face a lot. Still had like a bloody mouth. And part of me was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Was just kind of like, fuck it. That's kind of where my intent was. And I was like, I'm not going to do the stuff I did before. I'm not going to do anything I've done before. Part of me was kind of trying to find a place to use my Scottish accent. That's probably my best accent anyway, so I hadn't used it yet. I felt like a shame. I should try it at least once. So I did that, and I think there was a couple times where I think I actually went insane. Like I just said screw it, and I'm just going to surrender to the chaos. And I pulled one of the lines I was saying from the castle, or I had to sort of evolve this one line I was saying in there, where, you know, you've seen the last of the sun, you know, but I'd say it with this voice. The very theatrical Christopher Lee voice I was using most of the time. Except for like Pumpkin or in Zombie, when I don't say anything at all. But I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing any of that. And so I basically kind of used that. I was like, I'm just making sure you all realize that you've seen the last of the sun, you've said goodbye to the daylight, you're good with that, right? And then I developed, it's like, because as we brutally murder you later on, I just want to make sure that everything's cool. And I basically just went with this insane Scottish, like, vampire weirdo with it. And part of it, I kind of like distracting people, I realized. I do kind of like distracting people. And I was distracting enough that the other guy I was kind of in the space with would come up and do something. Or we had, you know, Brad was Michael Myers as usual, and we had someone else being Jason. And they were both killing it on it too. Like they were both dead on. So there were times I'm saying this random stupid shit, and all of a sudden Michael Myers and or Jason were there with it. And then I realized that I could like duck under and follow them around, and then I was distracting them. So the person in the next sort of like is like this butcher table thing, and this guy in this pig mask was coming out. So I distract them enough so when I went into that, he could come out, and then that would freak them out anymore. But the more people got freaked out from weird things I was saying, the more I kind of like just haunted down on them. That I was a massive chaos monkey, and it was fun. It was so damn fun. Like I was exhausted by the end of the night because I was insane. Like even when there weren't customers there, I figured out how to skip. I'm a year-old man. I never knew really how to skip before. Whatever that thing is in the brain that allows people to sort of naturally skip, I never had. If I could skip, it was like 2 or 3 skips normally, and then it would just be all screwed up. Like I could not skip well. Like the most I could do is I kind of had to do like a whole certain thing, like I learned from, again, back to Xing Yi, in order, and it was almost like throwing a knee, and then I'd come down and have to think about it in terms of jumping knees. But I could never skip. I don't even know if I can skip now. There was something that unhinged in me that Friday night that I was skipping. I was leaping, and there was no customers there, and I was just skipping. Or I would just start continuing saying stuff. Like I was crazy for not insignificant amount of times, and it was fucking great. So far my two best sort of like nights were in the cemeteries. The one cemetery, the one Saturday I was in the cemetery with Thomas on the hayride. That was probably, in terms of, I realized that where I kind of really want to be and really what I want to do if I'm doing this more is a little bit more theatrical, a little bit more performance. The hayrides allow you to do that. And on the walking trail on Friday, I realized I had a certain theatrical thing. It was a little bit more interactive, and but I could kind of shorten it. I could still make it weird or whatever for the trail, to mix them with that on Friday. But in terms of an actual performance and setting up like a really good creepy scene, the cemetery with Thomas that one Saturday night a couple weeks ago, this past weekend, which was Halloween, the weekend before that was super busy, and it was bad. Like, the customer base, it was not good. There was a lot of grossly inappropriate sexual sort of stuff, more so than before. The physical threats and actual physical violence committed to us, the actors, went way up. Like, I had some lady walk right up, and I was like, okay, and she punched me in the neck. I had other dude like poke me in the eye and all, and people would pull out. It's like, listen, I don't startle well myself. 9 times out of 10, if someone tries to startle me outside of a haunted sort of attraction, it doesn't startle me. The one time it does, my first reaction is to be violent. And it's not just punch either, it's like a whole thing. But if I go to a haunted house, you gotta know, or haunted attraction or whatever, you gotta know not to do that, regardless of where it is, let alone a haunted house. It's not supposed to do that. There are those places that you can sign all the waivers you want, have that sort of abuse all you want. Fine, that's cool. That ain't me. It's not what I'm into. That's not where I'm working. The week before was in the cemetery with Thomas, and I just based whatever he was doing, like, I tried to have a thing to juxtapose that. We worked really well together. He kind of brought me into the act that he was doing, and I was trying to like have something again be sort of distracting and going on while he was doing something, and it mixed really well. So in terms of performance, like, that was probably the most satisfying and enjoyable night in terms of a performance. And a large part of that had to do with, I was in finally the scene I wanted to be in the most. I was looking forward to the most, and being in there with Thomas was awesome. Like, he's really great to work with. But I gotta say, that Friday in the cemetery in the walking trail was probably, I guess, maybe if I had to separate it out, maybe the most fun, just because I was insane and I had fun just being a complete chaos monkey. So that's the sort of recap for last week. This is now the first weekend in November. The Friday and Saturday they're having stuff. It's actually Friday now. I don't know if you can tell it's night out, but I just was not able to make it and work tonight. Tomorrow's the last night of the season. I will be working that. I don't know where I'm going to be, but it's 6 to 10 as opposed to 7 to midnight. And so yeah, we'll just go in, probably be slow, especially since it'll be cold. And the people who are going are probably going to be more people who kind of like me, because I've gone in the post Halloween sort of things. There's a bunch of other places that are doing blackout nights and stuff, and honestly, blackout nights suck. Whole blackout houses suck. Taking your really cool attraction and turning the lights off and giving people a glow stick or a stupid little flashlight sucks. I'm really looking at you, Cedar Point. You have a whole house that's blackout, and you've screwed up Hexed by turning off the light and giving people other stuff. The only place I've seen do that was 7 Floors of Hell, and they built the attraction around that sort of thing, and having the glow stick, the whole thing was based around it, and they only had the one house, not a whole thing. Having sections of blackout sections, I understand, changes the mood or changes you know, the how yeah, the mood and the theme change and everything like that. Once in a while, having every single thing have that's lame and stupid. We're not having a blackout house, as far as I know. The mortuary is not blacked out. We can't really do the trail, the hayride like that because it'd be just way too dangerous, which I'm fine with. As far as I know, the mortuary is not being blacked out, and nor should it be. Anyway, yes, so I'll be working tomorrow, the last night. Um, I wasn't originally going to. I wasn't going to work this weekend at all. I kind of changed my mind because I mean, it almost feels more like having a nice closure. So I kind of want the closure. Like working Halloween, like I wasn't going to work Halloween either. I kind of felt, I don't want to say obligated because that seems like it was too like, oh, you need to. But I felt like I should. And part of that, I think, well, part of that was because of the people I've been working with and everything. Like I almost felt, I came to a decision that I felt like I would kind of letting people down if I did not. So I went. And then I kind of want the closure because I don't know what next year is going to have in store for me. I have absolutely no idea. As far as I know, like I could be able to work just as much or more than I did this year. As far as I know, I won't be able to work at all. So I don't really know. And so I'm not really going to plan it right now. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear, you know, and then the summer next year, I'll really kind of start kicking around what I'm going to do, what I'm able to do. Who knows? I mean, who knows? I might not physically be able to do it. I might not even be living in this area. I have no idea. It seems like absolutely everything is up in the air right now, so I don't know. And that's part of the reason why I kind of want the closure as well. That's it. This is the last weekend. We're already in November of 2021, which is insane. And yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. Oh wait, no, it's over here.
So here we are on the last night. It is Saturday the 6th. Feels like it's the 6th. And yeah. Ooh, excuse me. Last night. And the sort of symmetry spirits have gotten me because I am in the castle at the head of the walking trail again. It's the place I started off, and it's the place I'm finishing for this year. So yeah, I should probably figure out if I'm gonna still go theatrical or go insane like I did before. Have not decided yet. I might switch it up. I don't know if it's gonna be very busy. I doubt it. When I have come on these sort of post-season last night sort of things before, it usually wasn't that crowded. And we'll see. Shorter hours, and yeah, the sort of energy is everyone's pretty relaxed and groovy, kind of looking forward to it, both kind of looking forward to doing our thing, and a little bit looking forward to be kind of done, which is nice. I'm gonna have to find a new sort of fancier jacket sort of thing. I keep ripping the hell out of this one. I bought this, I think right before I started going back to putting on muscle, and then on top of that, and I know realistically I've put on muscle. The body dysmorphia doesn't allow me to actually enjoy it, but that and multiple layers of clothing, I can't fit in this damn thing, which sucks because I do actually kind of like this jacket. I do like jackets. It's my accessory of choice. So yeah, went pagan again with the makeup, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes. All right. This is the last opportunity I'm giving for myself to make this epilogue. Now, the same problems I've been having with just this epilogue, I've been having, and more so, for the videos I try to edit together for those video
diaries. I didn't want to just rush and like every time I made something be, here's 3, 4 minutes here, here's 20 minutes there, here's 30 seconds here. I wanted to put it all together in one sort of thing. Um, I think if I do anything next year, I think I might just put it out and publish it as I make them instead of trying to put it into one thing because this has been an absolute disaster. I have edited a video which took me forever to do with all those other ones put together, and then that disappeared from my computer. It didn't save, it didn't export. I don't know. I did it. I know I did it. I spent a lot of time on it. Disappeared. Did it again. Disappeared. So, and now we're in January of 2022, and not only is the Halloween season way done, but also the 2 weekends we did of a sort of special, Krampus, 2 weekend, 4 night. Well, it ended up being 3 night because one night had so much wind that we couldn't do it because it was just going to be the tractor ride through that. And that's done now too. And so is the December holidays and New Year, and we're in January now. I don't know. But I just felt since I've already done this, I want to give this one last shot to try and put something together here with it. And I want to say thank you to Rodney and Melinda Geffert for giving me that opportunity. Michael McLaughlin for kind of, for all intents and purposes, kind of recruiting me in a little bit with that too. And, Margaret for putting us where we needed to go and all this other stuff. It was great to see Thomas Hefner and family. But I do want to say thank you because everyone there was really cool. And regardless of, well, everyone's going to be different. Everyone's got different sort of backgrounds and experiences and different things like that. And even with that, Christian, excellent job on the makeup and everything, by the way. Sierra, thank you too. So there were a lot of cool people. Had some good conversations with people. Had a lot of fun with some people. And that was able to continue through the Krampusnacht sort of thing with that. Where I was going to be an evil elf, and I had this whole big thing written. And when they said, some of the times I was like, I timed it. I'm like, oh, it's going to be cut down. I knew how to cut it down. I ended up being the Jack Frost, which was one of the last two, technically the last actor, the last thing at the end. I had a snow machine and the fire thing, everything again. But I was lip syncing to stuff. I tried it a couple times without it. They really wanted me to lip sync. Okay. And I got good feedback on how I was lip syncing with this little 15-second little thing and how I was acting that out. And some people would say stuff, and then I was able to, improv a little bit of things there with that too. But I had never done lip syncing stuff like that before. So that was a new thing as well. And I was able to hang out with like Ronell and Natalie a little bit here or there. There was some cool stuff. So overall, it turned out to be a good experience. There were a couple nights, not Halloween weekend, but the week before, especially that Saturday. We ended up having a weather out on Sunday, and that was actually okay because that Saturday especially was one of the reasons I love going to haunted attractions and stuff is because it helps you work through and deal in a safe sort of environment some of that dark side stuff, some of that subconscious stuff, some of that things where it's like, oh, maybe you feel, because I've done this, so I understand it. You feel you've got to be to every sort of little thing that goes on because I got to keep myself safe or I got to keep someone else safe. When I had my fiance and everything like that, she's we. So I was just like, you're going to do what to my mate? What? So I understand that thing. I had years as a teenager and early 20s, even though I was starting to training, it still took me a while to get out of that mindset where it was like this all the time. What? But haunted house stuff and everything allows you to sort of drop that and be able to face some of these things without having to have that guard up with it. I just hope more people are able to relax with it. You don't have to put on your airs. You don't have to try and be something that clearly you're not. Just enjoy it, have fun. And if it helps you kind of work through a couple things too, awesome. Because quite frankly, going to haunted attraction stuff helped me work through stuff. Because when I was younger, I'd have a reoccurring nightmare of getting my head cut off. Long story short, won't get into the whole thing. And then after a while, that was replaced with these zombie nightmares. And it was always the same zombie apocalypse. I was with a group of people. It was really bloody and awful. And I had a plan. I had a thing. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And I was making all this stuff work. No one listened to me. Everyone dies. Everyone gets at in these horrible, horrible, horrible ways. I'm usually the last person there. And then usually something has that. Now, I understood it from an analytical point of view. I analyzed the hell out of it psychologically. Think Jung, sort of analyze the hell out of that. But one of the things that helped me actually work through it and get out of it was going to haunted attractions, because it exposed me to it in a way that was safe, in a way that was something that I could be like, okay, I could get through it. Forest of Screams has a whole zombie thing at the end of the walking trail, and I worked there like 3 of the nights or so, something like that. I probably wouldn't have been able to do that a few years ago, to be honest with you. And then the other, Seven Floors of Hell, which is the same people run it, had zombie stuff that sort of helped me work some of that stuff too. So these things can be good. And I know I've said this in some of the other videos. I did the best I could to be something different than I've seen in other places. I was trying to put my money where my mouth is from all the critiques that I've done to try and be something different, something I would like to see that I haven't really seen or have never seen or anything. I really tried to do that in there. And they were overall very encouraging of that too. All right, this is where you're going to be. And if you wanted to do this, that, or other thing with it, they were cool with it. Some places needed a certain theme that you needed to kind of tie into that theme, but other than that, you were good to go. And that encouragement with it was cool too. And then being able to kind of be part of the Krampus thing too was fun. And it looked like it was probably a little disappointing. And I think part of it might have been COVID stuff. Part of that was the weather really kind of didn't cooperate really well. It really wasn't like it wasn't either sort of warm enough that people were like, oh, it's going to be outside, it's cool, or it didn't have enough of that sort of Christmassy holiday sort of feel, because it was a little damp, a little wet, there were some winds and stuff. It didn't have the right feel, maybe, and all that, but it looked cool. Some of the stuff was in a fun way, really sort of like twisted, and the work that they put in making the hayride trail have like this twisted Christmas sort of thing with it. Like they did a lot of work to put that in there, and it was fun to see, and it was kind of fun to be a part of, and it was kind of fun to be a part of both. But anyway, as an epilogue with this, I wanted to make sure that I know there were some parts of other things where maybe I got a little too about some stuff. A lot of that was for me. I wasn't feeling like I was really participating in a way that I felt like I was contributing. Um, and maybe part of that was being moved into different stuff or anything. But to a certain extent, I like being moved into different stuff and a lot of things because it gave me more of an opportunity to try things and all that. And there was a couple of places where I felt a little bit stuck, but I was able to kind of find a rhythm for it. And yes, I was really disappointed and with the way some of the customers were, but to an extent, and this is something I'm really working on for me, for myself, is being able to, again, just chill the hell out with it. Okay, acknowledge that, okay, this is frustrating and everything, but let go of some of that. So it was a lesson for me in my own sort of psychological, emotional, and spiritual development and energy work and stuff that I'm dealing with too. And I was able to put like some weird stuff in here or there, here or there. I was able to put some weird stuff into it, which I liked. I like being able to be like, oh, I'm going to get weird with this. And I got weird with it a couple times. Wait, I appreciate and I am genuinely grateful and thankful for the opportunity. And it kind of came at sort of, a awkward, sort of rough financial and employment time of my life of last year and everything too. So the opportunity to kind of get a little extra, away for bills and stuff like that was very helpful as well. And it was just fun. And finally, actually like working kind of with Mike a little bit. He was more sort of uh, crowd security stuff outside of it, but it was still sort of like after years and years of sort of seeing him, at 7 floors or Forest of Screams, either as an actor or as sort of staff with that too. After years of seeing that, kind of working with him was kind of a cool thing to me. So that happens. So as an epilogue, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I was grateful for it. It was a learning experience in a whole lot of different ways. If I can and get the opportunity to in this year coming up, yeah, I think I might just have to. So, and who knows what's going to happen with this? As far as I know, even this recording right now is not going to go anywhere. I don't even know at this point in time. That being said, thank you. Good haunting.